The long road to the NASCAR Busch Series Championship veers west and heads skywards. When points leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. is good, he's very, very good. But a downdraft at Myrtle Beach left him 25th, and once again looking over his shoulder. At this man, Matt Kenseth. He took the inaugural Busch win last year at Pikes Peak. Today, both would like to continue their winning ways. In the shadows of this majestic summit of Pikes Peak, two of NASCAR's young gladiators battle for the pinnacle of the sport and the title of Busch Series Grand National Champion. Just 62 points separate defending champion and current point leader Dale Earnhardt Jr., who starts 12th today, from nearest rival Matt Kenseth. In the last 5 events, Earnhardt has 3 consecutive wins, then a courageous effort at Milwaukee with a broken shoulder to come from back to the pack to finish in 3rd position. But it was a disappointment last Saturday night at Myrtle Beach, and a 25th place finish has opened the door for this 27-year-old driver, Matt Kenseth. A year ago, Kenseth dominated here at Pikes Peak, leading 104 laps. And if history does indeed repeat itself, Kenseth a year ago led as a point leader. He could again do it today.
Voted most likely to succeed in the month of July was Captain Kleenex, Jeff Green. At the Milwaukee Mile, he was just a sneeze away from victory when Casey Atwood turned a Turn 4 love tap into his first career Busch Series win. At Myrtle Beach, a guaranteed Jason Keller victory went away with a flat tire. In the right place at the right time, it was Green's turn to do the donuts. And the smoke is clearing on his 3rd place view of the championship. You know, in the last 15 years, no driver has ever won the Busch Grand National Championship after missing a race. As a matter of fact, the last time it happened was 1984. Sam Martin did it. He wrecked at Rockingham in the next to the last race and didn't make the final race at Martinsville. But this year, there is one driver that could repeat history. Jeff Green missed the race at Rockingham earlier this year. The team did not qualify because they set that race after on points there was no qualifying. Now, Jeff Green has won this year, and this team has their mind set up that they can still win the championship. Yeah, everybody's talking about Earnhardt and Kenseth, but they better not forget about looking in the mirror, because Jeff Green and the Kleenex team has not forgotten they still have a chance.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, NASCAR, welcome you live to Pikes Peak International Raceway. It's the NAPA Autocare 250 for the NASCAR Busch Series Grand National Division. 19 races have been completed so far in 1999. There are the numbers as far as the point standings are concerned. Kenseth just 62 behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. Two-time champion Randy LaJoie is 10th in the point standings, 685 behind. Let's get right to our Suzuki row assignments. On the pole for today's race is going to be Dave Blaney, his 3rd pole of the year. Tim Fedewa has his best start of the year. So does Jeff Fuller in 5th position. So does Buckshot Jones in 9th. Down in 15th starting position is Todd Bodine. I'm Bob Jenkins, and with me is Benny Parsons.
And let's take a look at 16th to 3rd this afternoon. Tony Raines will lead that group. There's Randy LaJoie, Hank Parker Jr., Hermie Sadler. Back in the 33 car, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 63 this afternoon. Casey Atwood. Back in 26th spot is Mike Dillon. Will start in 30th position.
David Blankenship will start 31st in his 3rd Busch Series race. Gary Bradbury in 41st is also in his 3rd Busch Series race. Brad Baker, Steve Portengate, Ted Smokestead, and Damon Lusk all are in their very first NASCAR Busch Series race. Well, we have 4 onboard cameras that will be complementing our coverage today.
Damon Lusk will be carrying the American Online onboard camera. Also, Ted Smokestead in the yellow freight onboard camera, starting back in 42nd. And here's Butch Miller in the Channel Lock onboard camera, starting back in 37th position. And Shane Hall in the Country Store
Central Tractor Farm and Country.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Dr. Jerry Punch has a report from pit lane as we get set to go racing.
Guys, tires are critical at every race, but on a normal NASCAR Busch Series weekend, the teams are allowed 5 sets. 2 to practice on, 1 to qualify, and 3 on race day. 3 per position. But here at Pikes Peak, there was a bit of a misunderstanding, and the teams were actually given 3 sets for practice, indicating they had 1 set for qualifying and will be allowed just 2 sets for race day, meaning that will totally alter their pit strategy. 2 sets and 2 sets only under caution on race day. Let's check in with Ray Dunlap.
Doc, almost all the time in the Busch Grand National Series, when we go to victory lane, there's a good chance there's a Chevrolet there. Chevy wins an awful lot of races in this series. This year they've won 13 times. Ford has won 6 times, but I think it's important to keep track that Pontiac has 0 victories in 1999. There's a couple very fast Pontiacs in this field today, including the pole winner, Dave Blaney.
Blaney's first race here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. There has been 1 race held here in the Busch Series. That was last year. Matt Kenseth won it, but Dave Blaney did not compete in it, so he has gone to the pole position in his very first appearance here. On board with Ted Smokestead.
Ted Smokestead from the ASA ranks, getting a chance to run here in Gateway in a couple of weeks in the David Ridley-owned yellow freight Chevrolet that Mike Skinner usually drives.
1 more lap to go. There you see Matt Abernathy, the official starter, giving the field the 1 more to go sign. We'll be going 250 laps here this afternoon under beautiful, bright, sunny, but somewhat warm weather conditions in the Rocky Mountains just south of Colorado Springs. It's a beautiful racetrack. It's nice and wide. It's a D-shaped oval, front stretch 1,510 feet. The corners banked only at 10 degrees, and the elevation is more than a mile above sea level. But the real thing is that the turns are 71 feet wide, the front stretch is 65 feet wide, and the back stretch 60 feet wide. So there's a lot of room for passing BP and a lot of room for 3 and 4 wide racing.
And very, very long, big corners. You see the pace car, lights right atop the pace car, dives off. Be going green in just a second.
Pace car driver Dennis Dillard hands the field over to Dave Blaney and the others as we await the green flag. There it is, and we're underway. Down the backstretch, but Tim Fedewa has dropped into 2nd position. Green moves to 3rd. And here they come off of corner number 4. Looks like Dave Blaney is going to lead the lap. This is his 4th race led in 1999. The last time he led was at Charlotte in May.
Phil Parsons. Go see Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to work his way towards the front. He's on the inside of Elton Sawyer. That's the battle for the 10th position.
10th on back, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. There's Elton Sawyer also in this battle, along with Tony Raines, the 74 car. Todd Bodine moves to the outside of Raines. Flipping along at more than 128 miles an hour. Dave Blaney's last lap in the lead was 128.5. Second quick car was the 32 machine of Green, who has now moved to 2nd. And now they step it up to more than 129.5 miles an hour. And Andy Santerre, the 47 car, on the high side of the racetrack.
Lyndon Amick alongside Tony Raines. That's Tony in the black number 74. Lyndon Amick goes by in the 35 car. Back to the lead.
It is Dave Blaney, Jeff Green running 2nd. Here is the battle for 3rd position. That's Fedewa in the 36 and Jason Keller in the 57. Boy, what a heartbreak for Jason last week, huh?
2.5 laps to go. He gets tapped in the left rear, cuts down a left rear tire, and went back to finish about 10th position. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is heating up. Here comes Jeff Green trying to get on the inside of Blaney. Can't do it. Jason Keller now on the inside of Tim Fedewa for that 3rd spot.
Good battle for 3rd position, and also a good battle for 4th between Kenseth and Fuller. And up front, we also have side-by-side competition. Green tries to get to the inside of Dave Blaney. Now is going to take a run, going into turn 3. good thing we've got a nice wide racetrack and allows two abreast racing here as Green moving to the inside now of Blaney, but Dave holds him off for the moment.
Isn't that great to see that big wide corner when these guys can race side by side and not be in jeopardy of making contact with the other car?
More laps in the Busch Series this year than any other driver, 669. He's trying to get the lead here to get him 5 points. At the line, they're absolutely side by side now. Green takes the lead.
You get that position coming off turn 4 and make the most of it. Accelerated by down the front stretch. He would go in front. Blaney back to second spot. Blaney looks like his car is starting to push off these corners.
This is the 11th time this year, the 11th race, I should say, that Jeff Green has led. And he completes the 8th lap in the lead. But now Blaney running second. It's Jason Keller in third, 10 feet off fourth, and Jeff Fuller fifth at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Coverage of the NAPA Autocare 250 from Pikes Peak International Raceway, being brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. See the incredible new 1999s at your dealer now. By ESPN Video. Get your officially licensed NASCAR videos from ESPN Video. And by the more than 2,700 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. 13 laps have been completed. Jeff Green has moved out to about a 0.6 of a second lead over Dave Blaney with Keller running third. Here's a good battle for ninth position.
Randy LaJoie, the one car. The red-white car is on the move. Starting back in 17th. And watch Earnhardt Jr. dive down the apron of the racetrack.
No kidding. Close. He had to get those left side tires off into the apron of the racetrack, but managed to survive. He takes the position away from Parsons. That's Phil on the outside of the racetrack. And here comes LaJoie up to battle with McLaughlin. LaJoie goes to ninth position. And now Jeff Purvis in that 4 car also trying to take the spot away from Mike.
Tell you what, right now, that if the train starts going by McLaughlin, look at all the cars behind. This position, he'll be losing. That's Phil Parsons trying to take over that spot from Mike McLaughlin.
Then behind Phil, we've got Earnhardt. Then we've got Todd Bodine.
Elton Sawyer, Lyndon Amy, Andy Santerre.
Atwood is back there also. And the line forms to the inside.
There goes Todd Bodine, the 66 built 66 car.
Just keeps going back and back as he's caught on the outside. Now Casey Atwood comes up also on that high side. Maybe Mike can get back in line here. Nope. Sawyer goes around. And that may be the end of it. Lyndon Amick and Andy Santerre running side by side. Lyndon Amick apparently is going to be abandoning that car. He stepped out of it for a couple of races and apparently is going to be abandoning it, and Elliott Sadler will be taking over when there's no conflict with Winston Cup.
That is correct. Back up front, we see Jeff Green still leading the Penix number 32, and we see Dave Blaine, the pole sitter, back in second spot.
And the second spot car is Dave Blaney. Jerry's dropped back to about 3/4 of a second behind.
Bob, our pole sitter complained that his car was very loose when Jeff Green initially came up behind him, so he let Jeff go by, hoping that having Jeff in front of him would help the car. It has not. In fact, the last couple of times by, Blaney has radioed he's had to go very high in 3 and 4 to keep the back end of the car underneath him. Joe Martin and the crew will make an adjustment, but right now, all Dave can do is try to hang on and ride it out.
And we see now Jason Keller closing in on second place, Dave Blaney. So the 1984 Coors Light Silver Bullet champion from the United States Auto Club and the former World of Outlaws champion who had the pole here today and led the first 6 laps or so is now running in second spot. Here's Glenn Allen Jr., and he's picked up quite a few positions, BP, since this thing started.
Started back in 36th position, and he's now up to 24, so 12 positions is a huge gain in just 20 laps as he closed in on the back of Bobby Hillin in the number 8 car.
And the 37 car right behind him is Kevin Grubb. Let's get more from pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, thanks, Bob. We're watching the 38 car as he continues to move up on the racetrack. They brought a drop snout race car to this track, and in practice, they were third or fourth fast, and then Glenn had a tire go down, and they hit the wall, wrecked that car, and had to bring the backup out. The bad news is the backup is a standard snout car, and it's nowhere near as good as the one that they wrecked. But it must be pretty good because they continue to move up on the racetrack.
Glenn Allen from Cincinnati, Ohio. His best finish in NASCAR Busch Series action, fourth this year in Milwaukee. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Phil Parsons. These guys have been running side by side and nose to tail all race long, and they still are. That's for 10th spot.
They were able to get by Buckshot Jones the last lap. Here comes Todd 09. Phil Parsons moves up the racetrack right in front of Todd. Now they're all in line.
That's Buckshot in the red 00 car. The last in this line of 5. Earnhardt Jr. now up to 10th position. He started back in 12th. 23 laps are completed now here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Jeff Green has the lead by about a second over Dave Blaney.
Conrad, can we see the telemetry? I understand. I watch mile per hour.
Okay. Bob Jenkins, Betty Parsons, Jerry Punch, and Ray Dunlap back with you live at Pikes Peak International Raceway for Busch Series activity. 27 laps into the 250-lap NAPA Autocare 250. It is Jeff Green leading. On board with Butch Miller now. Let's check out the telemetry from Lucas Oil Manufacturers Heavy Duty and High Performance Lubricants.
Check it out. Miles per hour back up to 145 miles per hour. Down the back stretch, he will accelerate off the corner. Gets down to about 112 or so. Now this should be the fastest part of the racetrack. And we see already up to 149 miles per hour down the D-shaped front stretch.
About 56 to 7,500 it looks like on the RPM counter.
And the reason these Busch cars don't turn any more RPMs than, say, the Winter Cup cars, because they're 9-to-1 compression with only a 390 CFM carburetor. So they're only can turn the things about 7,500 to 8,000. That's the maximum they can turn them and still ask them to perform.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, this is Butch Miller's fourth Busch Grand National start, and this is Cadillac Chevrolet owned by Darwin Ord. Butch told me that Cadillac, their sponsor, is getting ready to make a decision this week as to whether to come back next year. Now, Butch is very excited. He's been hired for the rest of the year. And he talked about the fact, he said, I've won championships in ASA, I've won in ARTCO, I've won in NASCAR Crash and Trump at the Colorado National, and I would love to be able to come back next year with Cadillac and go after a Busch Series title.
And the 44 cars in the pits.
He acts like he doesn't have any brakes. He was coming in very, very slow, could not stop his pits, and I believe that he has boiled the brake fluid.
And it looks like Blaney's closed in on Green here a little bit more in the last couple of laps.
Certainly has. That last time he was a half mile per hour faster than Jeff Green.
Down the back stretch. Here on lap number 32. There are the mile per hour figures from last lap. As you see, Blaney was the quickest last time around. Now tucked right up on on the rear bumper of that car, and the interval is officially 1,300 for the second. And again, Blaney was just a little bit quicker than Jeff that lap.
Back in fifth spot, Matt Kenseth was the fastest car that last lap, a little over 126 miles per hour. But Kenseth is about a little over 4 seconds behind this battle for the lead between 32 Jeff Green and 93 Dave Blaney.
Green has already won 2 races in 1999. He won in Nashville and at Myrtle Beach. Now here's Blaney to the inside and retaking first position. Dave led the first 7 laps. Green took over in lap number 8. And now on lap 34, Blaney has the lead back again.
As these two battle for the lead, Tim Fedua is only 1¼ seconds behind the leader. See Adam Petty going around the 45. There comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to close it on the back bumper of the 4 car. Jeff Purvis.
Little E running 10th right now. Purvis is 9th. Adam Petty running in 8th position. There is Matt Kenseth, who is in 5th, about 3½ seconds back, and he still is the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yes, and he's 3½ seconds behind. Just a few laps ago, he was 4 seconds, so he is closing in on the leaders.
Last year here at Pikes Peak, he sat on the pole and won this race. It was sponsored by DeWalt Tools, his car sponsor. So he did them proud last year.
And you know, you would think that they would brought the same car back this year because the car last year was so dominant. A different car this year.
And we have a little bit of a racetrack back to Randy LaJoie, who's running 6th. Jeff Fuller is behind him.
But Randy LaJoie started back in 17th and has worked his way up to 6th position.
Joy, the 96th and 97 NASCAR Busch Series champion, is 10th currently in the point standings. As we look back from Butch Miller onto the 25 car driven by David Blankenship.
Ed Rinsey's car, the Duralube Chevrolet.
And for you Steve Grissom fans, we saw him in the pit area a few laps ago. He is back on track, but 7 laps to the rear. So Dave Blaney back in the lead over Jeff Green, and Tim Fedua will have more from Pikes Peak in a moment.
Kenseth just took over 4th.
Okay.
Just took over 4th.
Truck promo, you got that, Kenny?
That's a real mess back there, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Joy was the fastest car that time.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back to Pikes Peak International. Now that they've completed their race in Michigan earlier today, the next NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event, the Discount Auto Parts 200, comes up at New Hampshire International Speedway a week from tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. For those of you who missed it at Michigan earlier today, Greg Biffle won. Jay Sauter was second, followed by Jimmy Hensley, Jack Sprague. And Sprague now, or rather Biffle, has closed within 89 points of Sprague in the battle for the championship. And BP will be there a week from tomorrow.
Yes, I will, watching those NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in action. And Jeff Green, tell you what, his 32 car all year long has been so good, and no difference in here in Pikes Peak today. So right now he's in second spot. And when you look at our chart and see who the fastest cars are, the last time by Jeff Green was the fastest car. Matt Kenseth ran almost exactly the same speed. Kenseth is back in fourth spot now. Randall Joy has moved into fifth. Jason Keller is back in sixth.
Blaney moving in on some slower traffic now. That's Damon Luck in the America Online car in 12th position, one of the Winston West drivers that has come here. Back for 10th position, we see Todd Bodine and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Up ahead is Purvis, Petty, and Fuller.
That's 7th through 11th.
And a car in trouble here going straight away. A couple of cars, actually. Hank Parker Jr. and the 25 of Curtis Markham.
David Blankenship.
I'm sorry, David Blankenship.
And David Blankenship has some heavy damage to the left rear of the Duraloop Chevrolet.
Well, it's our first caution, and it comes out on the 47th lap. Boy, you're right. There's a lot of damage to that left rear of David's car.
Hank Parker Jr., also the 53 car, I think, spun. Possibly there. We'll see.
Well, we get the in-car perspective of Shane Hall on what might have happened in this incident.
Well, here he is right behind Blankenship. And Shane Hall is trying to go by. And right there, we're going to see some contact between Shane Hall and Blankenship. Shane Hall just squeezes by on the inside.
And from another angle, we see that he's already, and there is Parker spinning on the inside of the track, and everybody avoiding him. So David Blankenship's third career Busch start brings out our first caution. He finished 31st at Martinsville and 29th at South Boston. That Martinsville start was back in 1994. He makes his way into the pit area, and here comes Mike McLaughlin in.
And is pit road open? Yes, it is. I'm surprised that more cars did not make pit stops. There we see McLaughlin coming down pit road. He has drifted back. All the cars on the back end of the field have made pit stops. And I'm shocked that some of the cars up front did not pit.
There we see the work done on McLaughlin's car. He's pitted down toward pit out, turn number 1. They go to the left side of the car and change the tires on that side also. Mark Green is in. Several others getting the debris off the front grille of the car. And, Jerry, why are some of these guys pitting so early?
Well, the guys at the back of the pack, they really had no choice. They could come in and get tires and hope maybe that this will have a long green flag condition, and that'll pay off for them. Well, the guys toward the front, like Gil Martin, the crew chief for Dave Blaney, the comment was, if you got 2 sets of tires, you divide 250 by 3, you got to go 80 to 85 laps to make the tires work toward the end. They wanted to go to at least 80 or 85 and then be able to come back in and make that their first pit stop if there was a caution. If there was no caution, they would go a full fuel stop, which would be lap 105 to 115.
I see. That's right. I forgot about not having but just 2 sets of tires in the pit. Good point, Jerry.
Yep, that's right. So Dale Earnhardt and others stay out there. Earnhardt right now stays in 11th position. First caution is out here at Pikes Peak International Raceway and the NAPA Autocare 250 for the Busch Series.
Got a torn up race car because he didn't do anything to.
No, he didn't deserve what he got.
No.
She's tore up pretty bad, though.
Yeah, she is. I saw some fire or something down there a minute ago.
Yeah, it was smoking heavily, at least.
I don't know what that was all about.
Who won the night before? Who won the second one? Oh, yeah, we're doing this, though. Who won second night? Roger, who won second night? Quick. I can't think. Thank you. Got it. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Second one was where, Roger? Hewitt won. Welcome back to Pikes Peak. We started off Indiana Sprint Week at Terre Haute last Wednesday night with Terry Pletch winning from the back row. Now the second race, Jack Hewitt won. Corey Kruzman won last night. We'll have the final race of Indiana Sprint Week on our Thunder Series Wednesday night at 9 o'clock from Eldora Speedway, Rossburg, Ohio. That's coming up Wednesday night. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Signal has been given. 1 lap to go. Let's take a look at this incident once again that brought out our first caution.
That's Shane Hall, the car we're riding along with. The black car makes contact with David Blankenship in the Duraloop Chevrolet. He backs her in the fence.
And as we get set to go back to racing, Ray Dunlap, Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs 11th.
And, Bob, an awful lot of teams down here have sticker tires ready to go when they do come in for pit stops. That means they have not been on the racetrack yet. Look at all the tires over here in Dale Jr.'s pits. They're all scuffed. Every tire they have ready to go onto the racetrack has some laps on it. They believe that's going to give them better wear. Now, take a look right here at this yellow stripe on the tires. This is basically designed so that whenever the crew gets ready to go out, the carry guy will carry the tire right here. This is where he puts his hand. And that helps them index it so that this lug nut is sitting straight up and it's ready for the pit stop.
Less than 3/4 of a lap to go till we go back to racing. 51 laps have been completed. Back down to Jerry Punch.
Bob, you got to give a call to former Rookie of the Year Jeff Fuller, who had his best qualifying effort of the year, qualifying 5th in Meredith Ruark's unsponsored Chevrolet. The key there is unsponsored. They're out of money. Their sponsor didn't pay their bills, and so the team basically loaded up in a van and drove 22 hours from North Carolina to come to Pikes Peak. Why? Because they want to be able to keep their points position. If someone does come on board, they got provisional starting spots for the rest of this year and all of 2000. Dedication, and right now that dedication is paying off. They're running in 7th spot.
His best finish this year was in California, 12th. They have run 16 of the 19 races in 1999. And last year here at Pikes Peak, he started 14th and finished 11th as the green waves, and we go back to competition on lap number 53. See Adam Petty in there.
Adam Petty got it down to the inside. Jeff Fuller could not take the spot away. As a matter of fact, he might lose a couple of spots as Adam Petty loses momentum off that corner.
3 wide down here. That's Damon Luss there in the 12 car, the slower machine that got past, and they're still trying to split him.
That's America online on board camera, and he's seeing cars going by on the right side and the left side.
Andy Santerre goes by on the left. Luss is running back in 41st position, about 6 laps off the pace. Here's Kenseth, LaJoy, and the 32 car of Green.
And that is the battle for 4th position. So Jeff Green has fallen all the way back to 5th spot from his 2nd position.
Yep, he was 2nd when the green waved, but now he's all the way back to 5th spot. As Ken Fedewa has come to 2nd, Kenseth there in the 17 is 3rd, followed by Randy LaJoy and then Green. There's the two-time NASCAR Busch Series Grand National Division champion. He comes up, looks to the inside of Kenseth.
And Matt Kenseth in the 17 car is running an entirely different line than any of these other cars. He's running in the middle of the racetrack, where all the rest of them are diving down to the white line. Look at Kenseth right in the middle of the racetrack.
Well, don't forget, he sat on the pole and won the race here last year, so maybe he knows a little bit more than everybody else. From 17th starting position, LaJoie has moved to 4th, and Speedway now looks to the inside of Blaney, and LaJoie pulls alongside Kenseth.
Wow, how about that? Randy LaJoie takes over to 3rd position.
And Ray Dunlap has an update from pit road.
Well, Bob, down here in Randy LaJoie's pit, things are a little bit different than normal. Crew chief Mark Reno usually calls the shots from pit road, but today he is up on top of the tower working as a spotter. And their right rear tire changer, Ray Holm, is calling all the action down here in the pit. Randy's been caught up in a lot of wrecks this year, and he says, Mark, I need your help up front to keep your eyes on what's going on the racetrack.
Well, he's closing in on Speedway now for 2nd position.
And here we go. LaJoie gets a good run off that corner. He's got up to the door. He's up. He has the spot.
Randy began the 1999 season with a victory at Daytona. Right now finds himself back in 10th in the point standings. Now he sets his sights on the leader, Dave Blaney, and is about 0.3 of a second behind. No, make that about a car length behind Blaney.
The last lap, Randy LaJoie ran over 127 miles per hour to see Kenseth on the inside of Tim Speedway. That's for the 3rd position.
And Kenseth takes over 3rd spot, and now Green begins to charge back again. When you talk about guys that have come from the back to win, as LaJoie now challenges Blaney for the lead. Jeff Burton won from 30th position at Rockingham earlier this year, and LaJoie has the lead. Jeff Green went from 29th at Myrtle Beach. And again, Randy LaJoie started 17th here this afternoon, and he has taken the lead on lap number 60. So we've had 3 leaders so far today. Blaney, Green, and now LaJoie, who started 17th. By lap number 11, had gained 5 spots and now finds himself at the front of the field. 190 laps to go as 60 have been completed at Pikes Peak International Raceway. We'll be right back.
Just let Doc know that I'm going down to LaJoie, so Earnhardt's going to be empty.
I heard him. I got him.
Okay.
Caution flag.
There's oil on the track, they say.
Now, what are they going to do?
Are we going to be back for pit stops or not? I'm trying to get to LaJoie. All right.
At the NAPA Autocare 250 at Pikes Peak International Raceway, the caution waves for the 2nd time this afternoon. Anything serious. There was some oil on the backstretch reported. Here's the race to the line, the caution, and, well, I don't know.
Well, it's not going to be a matter because right now all the cars are in the pit. Now it's going to be a battle off pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Benny, I'm trying to get down to Randy LaJoie's pits because they did come in here. Well, it's going to be interesting to see who all pits and who doesn't. Track position is going to be so important today. I figured Little Earnhardt and Kenseth and a bunch of those guys would make it in. Randy LaJoie is in. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for him. They're working on the left side, and he's down in the way.
Just about everybody has come in, save Dave Blaney, who has decided to stay out.
Wow.
But LaJoie has his work concluded. We watch pit road, and others now begin to move out. There's Casey Atwood having his work completed, moving back onto the racetrack. So does Dale Earnhardt Jr. Alan Sawyer and Andy Santerre go out, Jerry.
And adjustments on the Jeff Green car and Adam Petty's car. Both those cars complaining of getting loose here in the early lap. This track notoriously gets tighter as the race goes on, but the heat of being the hottest day thus far we've had in 4 days has taken its toll on these tires. So both made major chassis adjustments. Why did the 93 Blaney not come in? Because Gil Martin, as I told you earlier, said we are going to stick to our strategy. 2 sets of tires. We've got to go 85 plus laps, or maybe even do a fuel stop before we stop, and hopefully the cautions will play in our favor.
So these pit stops occurring on lap number 64 for most of the competitors, with the exception of Dave Blaney and some others who have decided to stay out there. We'll take another break and be right back.
I was running. I just couldn't get here. I was just...
You're going to have to quit smoking there, Ray.
Pit stall number 1 really killed us. No changes on the 1 car. A little bit tight in the center of the corner, but no changes on the chassis.
Okay.
A little bit tight in the center of the cornfield.
Like being shot out of a canyon.
Yeah.
At the NAPA 250.
Okay.
Falafel.
Guys, air pressure adjustment for Matt Kenseth. He was actually tight coming off. A 36 car minute air pressure adjustment. He was loose all through the corner.
Boy, LaJoie got some great track position out of there. Of course, I guess they didn't do that.
So basically all those guys came in that I said I thought they would come in, right?
Yeah.
So pretty silly.
So I guess Kenseth won the race with the first car off pit road that the car that stopped.
Just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes out and we go back to racing here at Pikes Peak International. There is Dave Blaney, who is the leader of the race. Steve Portingay now running in second spot with the number 59 car of Mike Dillon running third. But none of those guys pitted. It looks like the guy who came out of the pit best of those who did go in was Matt Kenseth, who's now ninth.
See, Dillon has been able to get by Portingay. That's Brad Baker down on the inside, the number 7, the yellow and red car. Steve Portingay. Here's Ted Smokestad. He is the 4th place car, the yellow freight. On board camera, and watch out for the wall there, Ted.
Man. Way up there close. That's Gary Bradbury running behind the 19 car. Dillon, by the way, who is second, pitted on lap 50 under our first caution. So he has made a stop during the race, but Dave Blaney has not made one at all. Boy, it's Scramble City back here, isn't it?
It sure is. Smokestad trying to go by on the outside of Portingay. And look at Randy LaJoie trying to get by Mark Green.
Oh, 3 wide.
Earnhardt Jr., but Taco Don did not do it. Jason Keller and his teammate Jeff Green nose to tail. Oh, look at that shot down the front stretch.
Mackerel. 3 wide into the corner.
This is recipe for disaster right here.
Yes, it is. There's Adam Petty caught back with Elton Sawyer, Ed Barrier, and several others in this monstrous pack of race cars.
Phil Parker trying to dive on the inside of 47, Andy Santerre.
This is back for about 15 on back.
Reporting gain of 14 cars. They look for those guys to go.
Yeah, I think I'll just sit here and watch.
Tony Roper in the 61 car right in front of the Alltel Chevrolet of Phil Parsons. Shane Hall pulls up on the back of Kevin Grubb. Right along with him in the, I'll get this right, Simple Tractor, Farm and Country, onboard camera.
Very good. Hermie Sadler's in the 33 car. That's Buckshot Jones in the 00, Hank Parker Jr.
Oh!
Wide, LaJoy, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and the 90 car, Brad Loney.
And LaJoy takes that spot away. So
7th, 8th, and 9th.
But LaJoy up in 7th position.
The 1 car did make a pit stop last time, but he did not make a chassis adjustment. So Randy LaJoy is satisfied with the way that car is working. He comes up on Matt Kenseth.
It's Gary Bradbury in the green number 28 car. That Earnhardt Jr. trying to get on the inside. Smokestead watches Randy LaJoy drive by on the inside.
On board once again with Smokestead as he loses spots. On the left, he sees Dale Earnhardt Jr. take the position away.
And Randy LaJoy goes on the inside of the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Tries to take the spot, but Kenseth running that high line once again. Comes back on the outside.
The battle for 4th position. Kenseth maintains it, but now LaJoy with a good run down the backstretch. Nope, cannot do it. At the line, they're just about side by side. Now LaJoy has the position. So move Randy up into 4th. Up front, Dave Blaney.
He's off the pace. Something is amiss with the Amoco car because here comes Dillon going on the outside for the lead.
Dillon takes the lead. Jerry, what's wrong?
Right front tire. Dave Blaney said, I got a problem, guys. I'm coming right side tire. He missed the entrance to pit road because he was trying to hold on to the car, but a right front tire here on lap 77, so their strategy to go past 85 may have bit him here as he has to try to get the car back around. And Gil Martin, the builder of this Amoco crew, will change 2 right side tires under green, but he will already have lost 1 lap and probably lose 2 more in the pit.
Tough break for Dave Blaney. Meanwhile, Mike Dillon has the lead. It's only the 2nd time that he has led in 1999. His other time at the front was at Watkins Glen, but that's Tim Fedewa right behind him. And now Fedewa has a good run.
Dillon goes high, drifts up high in the corner, and Tim Fedewa drives to the inside of that Stanley Pontiac. And that time by, too close to call, but I think Fedewa will have the lead down in turn 1.
Yes, indeed. Fedewa now is at the front, and this is the 4th race that he has led in 1999. Jerry, bring us up to date on Dave Blaney's pit stop.
Well, about a 13.5-second stop. A very good pit stop for this Busch crew. They're looking at the right front tire behind the wall, but obviously a big, big disappointment. If their strategy had held up, they looked like they could win one, but apparently Its right front tire, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of wear, but apparently it was losing air, so they came in and made a right side tire change, and obviously that hurt their chances big time of winning here today.
First 5 cars running right together. There is Dale Earnhardt Jr. picking up 4th spot from Matt Kenseth. These are the first 2 in the point standings. Earnhardt Jr. in the lead of the point standings, Kenseth second, and on the racetrack they are 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll be right back to Pikes Peak.
Kenseth's car seems to be losing some of its oof, guys.
Yeah, if checkered flag would fall right now, I'd be real happy.
I'll check on Kenseth out here.
Yeah, something, I mean, he just doesn't seem to be as fast as he was.
Roger, I can update Speedway too when you get a chance.
Okay.
Kenseth is just real tight on new tires.
Okay.
And I can't update Speedway.
Okay.
And they cannot find a hole in that right front.
Was it low?
Yeah, but they can't. They're still looking. They can't find a hole. I'm going to run back down there.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, join us for the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies from Cooperstown, New York. Listen to these names, VP, being inducted into the Hall of Fame: George Brett, Rob Yump, and Nolan Ryan. It's all at 1 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. And we've got another lead change. Randy LaJoie has taken the advantage from Tim Fedewa. So far, we have had 12 lead changes, 5 different leaders here this afternoon. Last year, 7 drivers led. We're only at lap 86. And Jerry Punch has an update on Tim Fedewa, who's dropped back to second.
You know, Tim Fedewa and that entire Stanley crew were very, very optimistic this weekend. They made a change before this race with a new engine program. Both he and teammate Todd Bodine came out here with Dennis Fisher motors. Fedewa was fast in qualifying, didn't sit on the pole, but was by far the fastest car in happy hour yesterday afternoon. Tim Fedewa has not won this year, but thought this might be his day if, and he said if, we can hang on the long run. We're good on new tires for about 30 laps, but the long run hurt us quite a bit. If we can get new tires in the last 50 of this race, we'll win.
He's under attack right now from Little E, who's back there in third spot. Fedewa's best run of 1999 came at Nazareth. He finished in third position after leading 33 laps of that event. Randy LaJoie is the man right now. His advantage over Fedewa is about 0.6 of a second.
And Randy LaJoie, as we can see, is pulling away from these guys. Here's the battle for the 5th position. Jason Keller has just taken it away from Mike Dillon. Never see Todd Bodine, the Phillips 66 car. He's the 7th place runner.
Back down to Jerry Punch with more on Keller.
On their pit stop on lap 64, Jason Keller's crew made a significant adjustment. Jason's car has gotten, as he put it, way loose. They added 2 rounds of ice, and they also made an air pressure adjustment, and that has really helped the 57 car. And oh, by the way, prior to the race, one of the crew members was wearing a mask from Jar Jar, one of the characters in Star Wars. He said, "We need the Force to be with us today." Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Thanks, Doc. You know, we've talked about all the drivers that have had experience here at this racetrack. There are actually only 12 guys that are in the exact same car that they raced here 1 year ago. The Busch Series has only been here to Pikes Peak one time. One of those guys that's not in the same car is Mike Dillon. He's now in the 59. He finished 24th here last year in his old car, but the 59 car finished 8th here with Ron Hornaday driving. So Mike Dillon says, I got to do a lot better than finishing 8th. I know I can beat a truck driver.
Well, that's exactly where he's running right now, in 8th position. And a couple of cars gaining on him right now. Back up front, we see LaJoie still continues to pull away. He's pulled away by 1 second over Tim Speedway, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Matt Kenseth.
Kenseth seems to be better on the longer runs. Here he comes back to challenge Earnhardt again for the 4th spot, 3rd spot. Oh, we got a car sliding. That's Butch Miller. Sliding off of corner number 4, the car on the apron of the racetrack. There is no caution at the moment. Butch trying to get the thing started and headed in the right direction.
But he's going to stop right now. This will bring out the caution flag eventually. No, he's got the car moving, but how's he going to get turned around?
Not much empty racetrack for him to do so without coming up on the racetrack in the line of fire.
See some damage to the left front fender. He might not be able to. You ever see? He goes up, makes some contact.
Oh, 4 wide through there.
And there the caution flag finally does come out, but there's where you got the damage on that left front fender, I should say.
Another angle. For another angle. Now watch this. Oh, Hillen gets a little wobbly.
Boy, does Hillen, how does he not spin out?
That was a nice save by Bobby.
How in the world he did not spin out?
Now the onboard camera that Butch is carrying for us here today. Well, we won't see the replay from there, but the caution flag is out here. 95 laps are completed. So LaJoie's advantage that he had built up over Tim Speedway, Matt Kenseth, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Todd Bodine is now gone. And so are we for a commercial break. Did you hear that? That was wonderful what I said. That lead that he had built up is gone, and so are we for a commercial break. That's going to make, what's his name's column Monday morning.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah.
He ain't never seen one of these races. What are you talking about?
Okay. Okay. Jenny, you're going to have to watch that because I'm only getting about
the same. Saying.
Yeah, and Benny's the same way. So press your key long before you say something.
What did you say? What'd you say?
I have no idea. 15.
Okay. Gotcha.
Blaney again. Welcome back to Pikes Peak International Raceway, Fountain, Colorado, about 25 miles south of Colorado Springs. We're 97 laps into the NAPA Autocare 250. Here's why we are under the caution.
Going in turn 3, Bobby Hillman on the inside of the yellow car. Tries to get underneath the 50 of Mark Green. Can't do it. Now he's going to try again, but he backs off. When he does, Butch Miller runs in the back of him. Butch comes down, spins. Shane Hall goes by, hits the left front fender on Butch Miller's car as he goes by. Now, from the back of Butch Miller's Channel Lock Chevrolet.
And now from Shane Hall's on board. This ought to be good.
This really ought to be good because we see all these cars up there. Watch Hillen as he gets sideways. Now down comes.
And there's the contact.
Just barely could see it. Just barely could see the contact.
But Miller is running once again. He is 2 laps down, back in 38th position as we await the green flag once again here at Pikes Peak. Yeah. He saw the hole.
Well, Bob, we're 1/3 of the way.
Yep.
A little over 1/3 of the way.
Yep. So far, so good.
I guess I could undo my tie, couldn't I?
Yeah, I had to.
No wonder I can't talk and choke.
All right. I don't need it, Kenny. Big racing weekend in Michigan. You saw the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series there earlier today. We'll have US 500 qualifying at 6 o'clock tonight on the Deuce. Kart today at 11:30 tomorrow on the Deuce. And then see the Kart FedEx Championship Series in action of the US 500 at 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow on ABC. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Well, we're awaiting the green flag. It will be out in less than a lap. Down to Jerry Punch as Randy LaJoie will lead them to the green flag.
Guys, back on July 3rd, 27-year-old Idaho native Jeff Krogh was involved, was critically injured in a happy-hour accident at Milwaukee. Now, he's in comatose condition at a Milwaukee hospital. 4 days ago, he was transferred out to Inglewood, Colorado at Craig Hospital. Last night, a number of people from here in the Busch family went up to see he and his wife and family, and the reports are very, very good. Originally, when he was admitted to the hospital, it said it would be a year before he would come out. He is recognizing people, recognized his wife, his mother, and of course some of the drivers, Curtis Mark and Bill Amick, and folks who went up there. We are being told that they fully expect Jeff Krogh to walk out of there in 3 months. And the crews are wearing badges on the cars and, of course, on their uniforms saying, "Get well, Jeff. We love you."
From all of us here at ESPN and the ABC family of networks, the best to Jeff Krogh. By the way, he led 4 laps here at Pikes Peak last year in the race that they had, the Busch Series race. Okay, we're back to competition as Randy LaJoie leads. Tim Fedewa in second position. Look at Matt Kenseth out here. Now, Dave Blaney has positioned himself between first and second, but Dave is trying to get back on the lead lap. Remember, he lost a lap when he came in with a cut tire.
He does have an awfully fast race car, as witnessed by his pole position qualifying run here yesterday afternoon. And once again, LaJoie just starting to pull away from the field.
On board with Butch Miller, who is also running up front here, but now he is 2 laps down in the 36th position. Chanlock on board camera giving it a shot. That's Todd Bodine up ahead.
Lucas Oil Manufacturing. They manufacture heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Check out our telemetry. Down the front straightaway. 7,600 RPM.
Down to about 115 miles an hour before he's back on the throttle.
About 6,000 RPM as Todd Bodine goes by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Takes over the 4th position. Now here comes Butch Miller trying to get on the inside of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
We mentioned that Blaney, of course, did make that pit stop under green, but he did make a second pit stop during the most recent caution. And Gary Punch, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is hanging right in there in 5th.
Yeah, Bob, but he may potentially have a problem with the handle on the car going away. Now, his last pit stop, let's talk to Tony Urey Sr. He said Dale was tied in and loose off. They made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment, hoping to be able to change that. Now, what they've done now, he is definitely loose all the way to the corner. They're going to try to make it past lap 150 so their fuel will hold out and then get back in and put the track bar back where it was before. But right now, very loose in the 3 car.
That's probably one reason that he moved over, let the 66 car go by. He did not want someone right on his back bumper because that will make a loose condition even looser.
Here are the points as they are right now, with Kenseth moving into 52 points from the Battle of the Championship. There is Kenseth as he moves to the outside, or tries to move the outside of Tim Fedewa.
That's the 2nd and 3rd place, 4th, 5th, and here we see Jeff Green, the 32 car, driving down to the inside. There we see Dick Trickle in the 5 car, driving on the inside of 90, Brad Loney. That's the battle for about the 15th position.
And there's Casey Atwood right there also, and Ed Barrier in the 77 car. Atwood heads to the bottom of the track to try to pass Dick Trickle.
Ed Barrier, the Lear manufacturing Ford Taurus. Not many Ford Tauruses in this NASCAR Busch Series. Elton Sawyer has one, so does Ed Barrier, Glenn Allen.
This is only Brad Loney's 12th Busch race of the year. His best finish came in the most recent event at Myrtle Beach. He finished 5th, and now Atwood. Here's a battle. Bodine, Green, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Green was so strong earlier in the race, dropped back, but is now charging toward the front once again.
It's on the outside of Earnhardt Jr. Takes that position away. Moving up to 5th position. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3 car, back to 6th.
Meanwhile, back to about 8th position is Andy Santerre.
Sorry, Bob, trying to take over that 7th spot from the 57 of Jason Keller.
Santerre, of course, injured at Daytona. Made his return at Watkins Glen. Also ran Milwaukee. Did not make the Myrtle Beach show. But he is running side by side now for the battle in 7th position.
Great run for Santerre. He tries to get that position. Can't quite make it. Falls in behind Keller. Here comes Elton Sawyer. The Lysol Ford Taurus.
Mike Swain Jr. and Elliott Sadler were in this car while Andy was on the men. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Randy LaJoie, who has about a 1 3/4 second advantage on Tim Fedewa as Randy tries to get his lap back. Okay. Yep. Oh, Matt. Thank you. Coverage of the NAPA Autocare 250 from Pikes Peak being brought to you by Circuit City. Answers in every department, low prices all over the store. By Quick cement and concrete products help you do it yourself. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. 117 laps have been completed here at Pikes Peak International. Randy LaJoie is the leader of the race by about 2.5 seconds over Matt Kenseth, who has taken second spot from Tim Fedewa. Back of Fedewa is Todd Bodine, and then Dale Earnhardt Jr. there in the blue number 3 is in 5th with Jeff Green in 6th position. Rick Corelli's in the house, BP.
Yeah, there's Rick Corelli watching the monsters over next door. Great to see him here at Pikes Peak International Raceway.
Closing in on the halfway mark of this 250-lapper here, as we see Earnhardt challenging and taking this fourth spot away from Todd.
Right now, these other cars probably starting to push just a little bit. Earnhardt's loose condition working for him right now. Most of these race cars, once the tires get hot, after 30, 40 laps, they'll start pushing. When they come off the corner, the car will just start trying to go straight ahead. That's called pushing. And Earnhardt's car has been loose right now. That will probably work to his advantage. Randy LaJoie's car isn't doing anything except going on to the front and staying there. You would see Earnhardt Jr. trying to get on the outside of Tim Fedewa.
He's not the fastest car on the racetrack, though. Whoa, Earnhardt Jr. is, or was last lap at least. He'll be slowed down a little bit this lap because of that little incident he had there with Tim Fedewa, but Earnhardt is fast. Move him up to 3rd now.
He's 3 and a 3rd second behind Randy LaJoie. We'll keep an eye on that and see if he can close in on the Bob Evans Farms and Chevrolet of Randy LaJoie.
And there the speeds from last lap, and LaJoie was the fastest. With Andy Santerre second quick, and the number 4 car of Jeff Purvis, who's running back there in 11th spot, was 3rd fastest. And we'll check the speeds once again. Now Earnhardt is the quickest again, now that he's cleared the traffic, and Ray Dunlap has more.
Well, Bob, whenever we take a look at Randy LaJoie's tires, look right here. We have got the tires that came off the last time that they had a pit stop down here. And what they do is they put a temperature probe on here to try to see what the temperature is on the outside, the middle, and on the inside. Look at this, 180, 180, 180. That's the left side. The right sides are 200 even all the way across. When your temperature is even all the way across the tires, that means your car is handling really well. Now, a representative from Dave Blaney's crew just came down here and said, guys, please let us back on the lead lap. And they said, yeah, we will if you get back up there. But right now, Randy LaJoie is going right away.
Yeah, when the green flag dropped, of course, Blaney was right there and stayed with LaJoie for a few laps, but now Randy has moved away.
Yeah, I want to get my lap back. Well, catch me if you can. Exactly. Then you can have your lap back.
There is Blaney, who started from the pole here this afternoon, but had to make an unscheduled and green flag pit stop, which dropped him a lap down, from which he has not so far been able to recover. Andy Santerre and Todd Bodine trying to decide who runs sixth. Make it Santerre.
How about Andy Santerre? Great run. That's the Speedy Brake and Muffler sponsored Chevrolet.
In 1998 here at Pikes Peak International, Andy started 30th and drove to a 22nd place finish. The 1998 Busch Series Rookie of the Year. Shane Hall and Ed Barrier, what are they battling for?
19th and 20th right now. Barrier has it in 19th. Shane Hall's in 20th. We see Gary Bradbury back there in the 28 car. He's at 21st. Right on board with Shane Hall. Simple Tractor, Farm and Supply.
You got that down now, don't you?
Got it down now. Great run as he goes by the front grandstand. Then drives down to the inside, but here comes Barrier back on the outside. What a great racetrack.
This is. It's a nice, wide racetrack. The banking isn't...
Oh, we got trouble.
Buckshot Jones. Buckshot Jones in the Cheez-Its car has hit the wall.
Left front tire is flat. We see some heavy damage to the right side of the Cheez-It car as the leader goes high and no caution flag yet.
And there may not be one, as it appears as if Jones will be able to make it back to the pit area safely. Here comes LaJoy down to complete lap number 128. We're past the halfway mark now.
See, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been able to get by the 17 of Matt Kenseth, who's in the second spot, as Buckshot brings his car down pit road.
Buckshot's 7th race in the Busch Series in 1999. Larry Pearson also drove this car, of course, while Buckshot was in Winston Cup. And they're going to work on the right side of the car. Let's take a look at what happened to Buckshot. Well, unable to determine.
Hard to tell unless the left front tire went flat and caused that. But we see the right front tire. The damage to the car is the right front tire hit the wall. So that would bend all the suspension stuff. We see Ricky Pearson there checking and seeing, trying to see what is bent, what's broken, if they can fix the car and get it back on the racetrack.
How about Buckshot at testing at the Brickyard, huh? When we go to the Brickyard 400 in a couple of weeks, he was fastest of everybody in GM testing. Let's get out of the pits.
Well, they're still working on the right front of the Buckshot Jones Devil Hero car. And what Ricky Pearson is just telling him, so we're going to push the car back to the garage area. Looks like the lower control arm may be broken. He's actually talking to Buckshot. They're going to pick the Cheez-It car up and try to get a jack under it and get it back toward the garage area. Buckshot, by the way, plans to run the rest of the Busch Series season in this car, and this will a limited Winston Cup schedule, like 4 or 5 more events, including that Brickyard race we're talking about. That will be his next Winston Cup start. But looks like the significant damage underneath the front of this car. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get back out.
So Buckshot sits on pit road as they assess the damage to the Cheez-Its Pontiac. 131 laps into the 250-lap Busch Series race here at Pikes Peak International.
Right. Yeah, that's the way I would throw that out, is that he's the last of the contenders for Pontiac.
All right.
Oh, ran to the George Spinney.
Then they got to run 115 laps.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Wow. Wow.
So now they're on their second set of tires, second and final.
If they second and final, if they pit.
If they do pit. I don't think they will. No. All right.
Okay. He did not.
Nope. Back at Pikes Peak, where the caution is out, and you will not believe why it is out. Here is Jeff Purvis moving down pit road. There are a couple of other cars that are making pit stops, but here's what happened to the leader, Randy LaJoie, running by himself.
Just riding along all of a sudden, and the car goes around. And we see he's got the right front tire locked down, sliding across the racetrack, and Randy LaJoie did not pit that time. You know that the tire has to be flat spotted.
Here it is once again. The car came close to contacting the wall, but I don't think it did. Boy, he flat spotted the tires. He slid to the inside, and here it is from another angle. He just got up too high, looks like, and
the problem started down on the bottom of the racetrack. And like he hit the apron maybe with the left side. I think maybe he might have touched the apron with the left side. Ray Dunlap, do you have any idea what happened?
Well, not exactly, Benny, but Randy came on the radio and he said, I ran over something. It felt like it was a wrench, and I thought the right rear tire was flat. They went back around a couple more laps, and he said, feels pretty good. We're going to stay out. So they did not pit. If they came in and pitted right now at lap 136, it would have been their last set of tires, and that could have been disastrous for what they hope to have is a pit stop much later in the race so that they can have fresher tires at the end.
Ray or Jerry, let me ask you a question. If he has flat-spotted tires, will NASCAR then give him another set of tires?
Yeah, in the driver's meeting, guys, they told them that if you come in and your tires are flat-spotted or you have a cut tire, the official at the pit will make a decision if those tires will count against your two sets. They may not.
But if he comes in now and changes tires on the R flat-spotted, he could have another set of tires. That would be a huge advantage for LaJoie.
Sure would.
Because right now, if he doesn't get another set of tires, he has to run 115 laps on the last set of tires that he has available to him.
Yep.
Wow.
Back down to Jerry.
Okay, updating Dale Earnhardt Jr. Why did they not pit? Well, they're talking back and forth a little bit here. Tony Erie Sr. talking with Earnhardt Jr. Basically on fuel, they could make it from lap 125 on, but the concern would be tires. And they're talking about the fact they would have to have gone 115 laps on tires. And Tony Erie said, the way that right front tire looked when we took it off, there's no way we could have made it 115 laps. We're going to go at least 40 to 50 more laps prior to coming back in. Let's check in once again with Ray.
Well, Doc, they made the decision that they just can't take a chance that that tire may have run over something. They've got to put fresh ones on. They've got thicker tires down here. They're going to the right side now. This will be a 4-tire stop for Randy LaJoie. He does do this at lap 137, so there's an awful lot of race left. We'll take a look at these tires just as soon as we can and see if there's a decision from NASCAR.
Well, I think that was a smart move. There's Randy getting he had dropped back to 12th position, and of course gives up a lot of track position. But boy, it seems like that he would have a lot better mental attitude now that he knows he has fresh tires.
Exactly, because there's no reason for him to spin over that corner. Randy LaJoie is a quality race car driver. There's just no reason for him to go around. So to get 4 new tires on the car, you know he has to feel a great deal better about it.
Did I see some lightning from a little thunderstorm? They predicted isolated, very widely scattered. Let's hope they scatter away from him. Now, as they take the green flag, we will tell you that Dave Blaney did get back on the lead lap. And as they take the green flag, he is back in 18th position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. Matt Kenseth second. Tim Speedola third. Jeff Green fourth. And Andy Santerre up to fifth. One car between first and second is Hank Parker Jr.
72 car Curtis Markham. Indian brake on the outside. He is a lap down.
Back in 33rd position. out-of-zone race recap. Your leader currently is Dale Earnhardt. This is the 6th different leader that we have had today. We've had 4 caution periods for 20 laps. The average speed of the race a little over 104 miles an hour. The lap leaders, Randy LaJoie has led the most. Dave Blaney second most. Then Green, Fedewa, and Earnhardt, along with Mike Dillon, who led 3 laps as Hank Parker Jr. tries to get his lap back in 32nd position. Buckshot Jones is off the track.
How about that? Hank Parker Jr. goes up there trying to pass Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is driving off and leaving the rest of the field.
I don't know whether he's going to get the job done, though, or not. Well, he's got a pretty good run here on the backstretch, and hold it off for a moment. Let's get down to Ray Dunlap, who has a tire update.
Well, Bob, the guys down here in Randy LaJoie's pits, of course, were doing exactly what we had expected them to do, which was lobby with NASCAR to say they had flat-spotted tires. But the officials came over and looked them over and said, nothing wrong there. We have to keep you to the 2 sets of tire limit. So they've taken these tires that just came off the car and put them back up on the wall. So if they need another pit stop, these same tires will go back on the race car.
Well, he's got a lot of laps to run on that final set. As 143 are now in the books. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading his 14th race of 1999. And Hank Parker Jr. has not been able to get his lap back.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now is a half-mile-per-hour passer. Well, there's the Andy Santerre that time was the fastest car of the top 6.
Yep, just a little bit quicker than Dale Earnhardt Jr., but Santerre has a fast race car. Looking back here to 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Ever see Santerre trying to get on the inside of Jeff Green as they come off turn 2.
Battle for 4th.
Santerre won the NASCAR Busch Series North race up at Loud, New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago, so maybe you know something about these 1-mile racetracks.
Yep.
Couldn't make that pass happen.
So Jeff Green holds on to the 4th position. Santerre will challenge again as he comes off the 2nd corner. And he started 20th in this race and has made a nice movement toward to the 5th position. But this time, BP,
you just can't get that momentum off the corner like Jeff Green can. Then on the inside, there's a battle for the 2nd spot between Speedway and the 17 and Matt Kenseth.
Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. drives away just a little bit. He separated himself from Matt Kenseth by about 1.4 seconds. Back with more in a moment.
It'd be great to see you and Andy Santerre up in the front, wouldn't it?
Boy, it would.
Man, I'm telling you. He's fast. He's got a good race car.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he at?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay.
What's the 12-car black flag for?
I
What do you
wouldn't
want
mind
to do,
staying
Doc?
here in the 3 and 36 area.
Okay. So if you stay there, I'll go down the green. Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, that's fine, right?
Okay.
That's fine.
Who's the director?
I'll be able to see Green and Kenseth.
And as soon as you get the green, Randy LaJoie will take the lead again, so you'll go back up there.
10-4.
Nice hustle, man.
Okay. So he would have dropped back to about 31st, wouldn't he have? Around there, 30th, 31st.
He's still on the lead lap?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
21st.
That's bad.
Where is that weather? Which direction from
Turn
us?
1.
So it's south.
Southwest.
Moving northeast. Tour de France ends tomorrow. You can see it on ABC at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Will Lance Armstrong hold on to his lead? He has a 7.37 minute 37-second lead as we go into the final stage. See it tomorrow on ABC at 5 o'clock. What a story that will be should he hold on for the win.
Unbelievable story. That might be the story of 1999.
Here at Pikes Peak International Raceway with some shower activity southwest of the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to hang on to the lead. 152 laps have now been completed. He has more than a 1 3/4 second advantage on Matt Kenseth. Randy LaJoie made the pit stop, changed the tires, got his last set, dropped back to about 30th or 31st, and right now he is 18th, challenging McLaughlin for 17th. He is flying.
He is flying, but unfortunately, he doesn't have enough tires to see Damon Love right in the middle of McLaughlin goes by on the outside, and Randy LaJoie comes by on the inside.
LaJoie was leading, spun, made a pit stop, and is now charging back up toward the front.
Ted Smokes had me right along with for just a moment. He's in 26th position in the yellow freight Chevrolet.
McLaughlin slides up the racetrack in the 34 car as LaJoie tries to move up to 17th. A lot of traffic up ahead, more three-wide racing. Seems like that Bobby Hill is in three-wide racing every time we turn around.
I'm telling you, Jason Keller's on the outside, just somehow squeezed it in between those two.
Jerry, what's the weather look like?
Well, down in the Dale Earnhardt Jr. pits, they said, I remember a moment ago, up to look at the NASCAR weather radar to check on that lightning we saw back at turn 1. And what they're telling their crew members, and will eventually tell their driver here momentarily, is that there's a cell about 45 miles away that has some significant rain. But what's close to us are just tiny little, small little cells. They shouldn't amount to much. The major cell still about 45 miles away behind the turn 1 area.
Not being familiar with the weather patterns out here in the Rocky Mountains, I'm not sure which way the showers move, but the one that we have noticed closest to the racetrack is to the southwest of this facility. Well, here's Green, Fedewa, and Kenseth as they battle for second, third, and fourth, and Jeff Green has moved to second.
Takes it away. Here we see Andy Santerre trying to get on the inside now, trying to drive on the outside of Tim Fedewa. Will that work?
Make that third, fourth, and fifth as Matt Kenseth is in second. Green third, then Fedewa and Santerre. There you see the speed for Green and Fedewa last lap, but the fastest among the top 6 last lap was second place Kenseth by just a little bit over Earnhardt.
And right now, Kenseth is 2 seconds, exactly 2 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt. Tim Fedewa is running exactly the same spot that Andy Santerre wants to run. Exactly the same. Andy Santerre tries to come off high off turn 2, but he's going to have to make the decision to go in high rather than on the bottom of the racetrack.
Makes passing a little difficult when somebody is occupying exactly the same place that you want to be. There's Kenseth in second. 2.05 seconds now behind Earnhardt.
Ever see Santerre driving on the inside?
Whoa! Got a crash. Bobby Hillen, Glenn Allen Jr. slide into the grass here right to start-finish line, just beyond the start-finish line.
And if Hillen gets one, he will not lose a lap. He's got a little bit of damage to his car, and he will continue to stay on the lead lap. And I believe Hank Parker Jr. got his lap back.
Did he? Oh, good. Here's a replay. This time Hillen was not in 3-wide traffic, but Glenn Allen and he make contact.
Glenn Allen came off the corner, just pushed right up in the left rear of Bobby Hillen. Was the most surprised man in this racetrack because he just cruising along and all of a sudden, bam, he gets hit in the left rear.
He's been in so many tight situations and almost spun early in the race, and then all of a sudden when he thought things were clear, he got hit in the left rear by Allen. Okay, now we're at the 160 mark, which means there's 90 to go, and I would guess pit road is going to come a lot busier this time than it was last caution period.
Here they come. Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, Jeff Green, all coming down. Jerry Punch are coming toward you.
45 miles an hour, BP. This should be their last scheduled stop. They will have no more tires. This will use their second set right here. Earnhardt Jr. told Tony Eury Sr. the car is perfect. No adjustments, just 4 tires. It is through now. The 80 number through. Tony Eury Jr. changing the right front tire. Now, as Bill Parsons comes by, the tires just come off his grip. They're on the left side of the Earnhardt car. Let's check it up for Ray Dunlap.
Jerry, Matt Kenseth's car was a little bit tight. They put one round of wedge in on the right side. A little bit of a right front air pressure adjustment. It'll be 4 tires for him. Adam Petty is also in down here. Kenseth is down and away, but he'll go out behind little Earnhardt.
The leader of this race is going to be Randy LaJoie.
Now, he came in, BP, and popped off, but he, of course, didn't change tires. Those ones that he has on only have 24 laps on them, so this is going to be interesting.
It really is. There you see the leader of the race, Randy LaJoie. Well, he might not be the leader of the race, but he will be the car that beat all the cars that made pit stops on back on the racetrack.
That's right. Again, he topped off, but he did not change, and so he is in, once again, a position to contend for the win here at Pikes Peak.
Perfect last hit on lap 134. I wonder if he's going to try to go to the
He did at Michigan once, didn't he? He ran like 500 miles without stopping. Yes, he does.
Yeah. All right, you guys, the pits. The 4, the 59.
I'm at the 4 right now, trying to find out what
59, 34, 77, 28, 99, 19, 33. You know, can they go the rest of the way?
They did not stop, is that correct?
They did not stop.
They pitted on 134.
On 134, so
I'll
they got
check on the 4, Ray.
I'm at the 4.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
34, Jerry, if you're down that way, or...
Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, the 4 and 34 down together. Who else didn't stop?
77, 99.
All right, they're at the other.
33.
63.
63. But they can't hold LaJoie off.
Back at the NAPA Autocare 250 for the Busch Series at Pikes Peak International Raceway. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Dr. Jerry Punch. We're still under caution. Lap 163 completed. Now, several cars did not make pit stops on this round. They did, however, pit on lap 134, and that has resulted in Jeff Purvis having the lead of the race. Mike Dillon is running in second spot. Ray Dunlap, meanwhile, can give us an update from pit road.
Well, Bob, there's a couple situations coming into factor down here for the 4 crew. I talked to Johnny Allen, the crew chief. He said, we can definitely make it to lap 248. We have that figured out. Now, the last couple, well, that's a gamble. But he said there's also another gamble, and that's this weather that's off to the southwest. He said, we felt like the best position right now would be up front with that weather coming in. Now to Dr. Jerry Punch.
And updating Mike Dillon, the Kingsford crew, Tony Miller in lap 135. He changed 4 tires, full of fuel, and I've just been told they are set to go all the way on fuel, that their tires will hold out, so they're not going to come back in. The front 2 are going to try to hang on and steal a win.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Right now, Randy LaJoie, who is one of the fastest cars, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are back in 10th and 11th. You know, can they hold those 2 off? That's the real question. You know, can they hold LaJoie and Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth and all the rest of those cars off?
Well, they are assuming the restart mode here as the lights on the pace car are out, and we're set to go back to racing on lap 166.
I'll put my money on the red truck going down the Interstate 25. Looks like he's flying.
The interstate is just past the backstretch, as you can see. And between the racetrack and the backstretch, they have these noise-defeating barriers that are made out of recycled tires. Kind of an interesting twist. And now, with the pace car off the track, Jeff Purvis steps on the gas, and here we go again. Look at that barrier there, trying to take third for McLaughlin.
On the outside. You've got to pass on the outside on a restart. He's trying to do it, could not do it. McLaughlin hangs on to that third spot, and Purvis just pulls away. He knows he needs a good lead right now.
Going to try to put as much distance between himself and everybody else as he can, because he knows there's going to be a scramble for position back of him, and that is exactly what we're seeing. Here comes LaJoie leading the inside line with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Green on board with Butch Miller.
Oh, drives up right behind the Matt Hunter car, the red man, number 99 car. LaJoie tries to get by. That's a battle for the 6th position between the 1 and the 99. Ted Smokestead was up there in front just a moment ago, but he's been hustled to the rear in a rush.
Jeff Purvis becomes our 8th different leader in this race. That exceeds last year's 7 different leaders that they had.
LaJoie's been able to get by the 99 car of Hunter, but he's now working on the other car of Lyndon Amick, and here comes...
Oh, Adam Petty has some damage on the left rear of his car, and Shane Hall has some damage on his car also. Well, it's no wonder as tight as these guys are racing out there.
Tough break for Adam Petty.
Adam thought, and a lot of other people thought, that he had his best chance so far for victory. It will come someday, we know that. The question is when. A lot of smoke coming from Shane Hall's car. There's obviously some sheet metal is rubbing the tires. Meanwhile, here are LaJoie, Green, and Earnhardt. This is the 6th, 7th, and 8th position battle.
And LaJoie watches Earnhardt and Jeff Green, and now Matt Kenseth drive on the outside.
Andy Santerre in the 47th. Boy, he's had a good run today. Here's Green to the inside of Earnhardt, trying to take away that 6th position. Oh, a little bit of a bump there at the line.
And here's Santerre trying to follow these guys. Andy Santerre has a great race car here this afternoon, folks. Talking about the number 47 car.
Fastest car on the racetrack last lap by far, Jeff Green in the 32. More than 2 miles an hour faster than the leader.
He's got position, but Earnhardt drives it in deep, and once again, contact between those two is LaJoie. Now tries to get on the inside of the 47. They're 3 wide down the backstretch.
Boy, Earnhardt had to check up, and when he lost his momentum, he lost 1 position, and now LaJoie trying to take away his 2nd, but unable to do so.
Tim Beadle on the inside. Here's LaJoie trying to get by Dale Earnhardt Jr. down in turn 1. That's about for 7th.
Todd Bodine also comes up to join this very exciting battle for position. All of this happening behind the leader of the race, Jeff Purvis, who has a 1.5-second lead on Mike Dillon with 172 laps completed. Okay.
So he hit the wall, and then 43 run across Adam. Is that what happened? Jeff, let's see.
Here we go. Yeah. How did Adam get his left side damage from that deal?
What Purvis ain't no slouch, is he? He was a fastest car that last lap. He was the fastest car.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, turn 3.
But can he go the distance?
Yeah, I think he'll be able to make the distance.
Yeah. Ray said he could. Live coverage today of the NASCAR Busch Series Grand National Division from Pikes Peak International Raceway, the NAPA Autocare 250. There is Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 5th, Andy Santerre in the 47, and Ed Barrier in the 77. As Jeff Purvis continues to hang on to the lead, but up now to 2nd position is Jeff Green. There he is going on your screen. Mike Dillon is 3rd, and then comes Earnhardt and Santerre.
And Santerre taking a look on the inside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to take that spot away. Here comes Randy LaJoie, who's shown so much promise tonight. Trying to get by Ed Barrier. That would be the 6th position.
Now remember, Jeff Purvis, the leader of the race, made his pit stop on lap 134. However, he has been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack in recent laps. He wasn't that last lap as Jeff Green was, but Jeff Purvis is not going to be an easy person to catch here.
No, he isn't. You check it out right now. He's got a 2 3/4 second lead on Jeff Green. We'll keep an eye and see if Green is able to close in any on the Lance Snack Chevrolet.
Shave just a tiny bit off, 2.69 seconds.
6/100ths of a second. At least he's going the right direction. He's getting a little bit closer.
10 feet of on Dillon there are running side by side for position. Meanwhile, there is the serial on Dale Earnhardt Jr. since the restart. And he was 12th on the restart and has picked up 9 spots since then. The defending NASCAR Busch Series champion, who once again is at the top of the point standings. Took him quite a while in 1999 to win a race, but then he won 3 in a row. In Dover, South Boston, and at Watkins Glen.
Here comes Matt Kent of the 17 car. He walked home.
Easy for you.
Easy for me to say.
And there's Elton Sawyer moving inside of Mike McLaughlin. Sawyer in the 98. He's running back here now in 11th position. There's Todd Bodine. I read something interesting about Todd Bodine here recently. He designs a lot of things. He designs the paint schemes for his car. And not only that, but he has designed the house that he and his wife live in. What about hobbies for Todd Bodine?
And I haven't been in it, but I'm told it's a magnificent house.
Yeah. Todd right now trying to get the 7th position away from Ed Barrier in the 77 car.
One I was going to make a moment ago, Matt Kenseth back there in the 17 car started his race 62 points behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the championship lead right now. Earnhardt's in 3rd spot. Kenseth is in 9th. So losing valuable points unless he can make his way towards the front.
There's Sawyer picking up another position. And how about old Dave Blaney? He's back there in what, 15th position. Boy, it's been an up and down day for Dave. He started on the pole, had to make a green flag pit stop, lost a lap, got it back, and now continues to try to get back up to where he was at the start of the race.
The problem, he did get his lap back, but then he was behind all the cars. Had to restart at the very end, like 31st and 32nd. And track position is everything. Because you can see, folks, these cars are all running about the same speed. Passing someone is very, very difficult.
There's Dick Trickle. We haven't mentioned him today. Dick up there in the 15th spot now, being challenged by Gary Bradbury in that green and yellow car.
Parsons, Jesse Keller back at the very end of this as they go on the inside of Jerry Bradbury. These are 2 cars that run up in the top 10 all day long, but once again, track position has gotten them back there, and it's going to be a struggle to get back to the top 10.
Bradbury there in the 28th, only his 3rd Busch start. He was 32nd at Darlington and 21st at Charlotte. Ray, what does the weather appear to be doing where you are?
Well, I'm not exactly sure yet, Bob, but the weather is coming over turn number 1, and the temperature is going down, down, down. It's getting much cooler down here. So I talked to Johnny Allen, the crew chief on the floor, and I said, is this going to help you or hurt you? He said, well, a little bit both, because we're a little bit loose getting in. He said, that'll help us, but we're afraid that it's going to make the car way too tight right at the end of the race.
Well, a moment ago, we talked about Jeff Green being 2 3/4 seconds behind. Now he's just a little less than a 1.5 seconds behind. So he has closed in a 1.25 seconds on Jeff Purvis.
And we've still got about 61 laps to go in this race. So Jeff Green has plenty of time to catch Purvis. There is the interval between 1st and 2nd, Purvis and Green. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 3rd, followed by Andy Santerre and Randy LaJoie. More from Pikes Peak International in a moment. Okay. I know. No doubt that it is moving this way, too. Well, we may not have to. We come back tomorrow and do it, though, wouldn't we, Jenny?
Yeah. I hope so.
Wasn't it rad? He was the first one to express his hope that we would.
Me too. I'm second. Ooh, look at him coming off 2 over there, Bob.
Whoa. Adams in the middle of something again, isn't he?
Yeah. Where do these cars run next week? Do they run?
Busch?
Yeah.
Where does Busch run next week?
But
where does Busch run next week? St. Louis.
Gateway.
Yeah, St. Louis Gateway.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
No caution. 7 cars.
Big nights of racing coming up at Indianapolis Raceway Park beginning August the 4th. At 9 o'clock, it's the DuPont 100 for the USAC Coors Light Silver Bullet Series. The next night, the next NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is in action at the Power Stroke 200. That's at 8:30 on ESPN. And then the next night, these same cars and stars, the NASCAR Busch Series at the Kroger 200 at 8:30 on Friday night, August the 6th. All prior to the running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. 5th and 6th here, LaJoie and Speedway.
LaJoie has it. Speedway obviously wants it. I will tell you that Jeff Green now is 2/3 of a second behind Jeff Purvis. So just keep you up to date. He's getting closer and closer and running laps over 128 miles per hour. That's a couple of miles per hour faster than we've seen all day. Temperature is one thing and desire is another thing that's causing that speed.
29 cars are on the lead lap. The most cars that have finished on the lead lap at a Busch race in 1999, 21 at both Nazareth and Watkins Glen, so we may break that record here this afternoon. Ray has an update on Tim Fedewa, right now running 6th.
Bob, at the top of the show, I was talking about how Pontiac has not won yet this year. Dave Blaney was kind of the hopeful for them as he was on the pole, but he's now a lap down. Of course, Buckshot Jones is out of the race. Tony Roper had engine trouble, so the only help left out there on the racetrack that Pontiac fans might have is 10 feet away.
Well, BP, it didn't take Jeff Green long to close in on Jeff Purvis, did it?
No, he still has 50 laps to go to try to get by this Lance Chevrolet. So the last time by, he was 3/4 of a mile per hour faster than Jeff Purvis. Catching someone past him is two different things.
Jeff Purvis has 2 career Busch Series wins. His first was at Richmond in '96. And I remember his win at Michigan in August of 1996. He went for what seemed to be an eternity on tires and fuel and still won.
He ran seemed to be almost the whole entire race on one. I think he ran 140 miles or something on fuel. It was unbelievable how much he ran that day.
His best finish in 1999 has been at New Hampshire, where he came in 3rd. He is under severe attack right now from Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, the winner last week in Myrtle Beach.
Earlier today, Jeff led laps 8 through 32. He's now trying to get it again. Yeah, he's won 2 races in Busch so far this year in Nashville. And he, I guess you could say, inherited the lead as he tries to get to the inside of Purvis. He inherited the lead last week when Jason had his trouble. Give the 200th lap to Jeff Purvis. Now we see Santerre and Earnhardt going at it for 3rd. Man, Andy is really good today.
That's a great race car today. This is a battle for the 3rd position. Now they're going crazy up in New England as Santerre is trying to pass an Earnhardt.
well, they should. He's had a great race. Well, that's 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 4th. Here's 1st and 2nd. Once again, Purvis holds off the position, and it is a side-by-side at the line between Andy Santerre and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Almost some contact there between the 4 and the 32. Almost some contact there between the 47 and the 3. Oh, he just can't drive it in the corner and pull that slide job on Earnhardt like he wants to.
See on our rundown, there's just 48 laps to go in this one. Green looks again to the inside of Purvis, coming off turn number 2, heading down the backstretch. They come up on a slower car, but Jeff has a good run, and he takes the lead.
That's the slide job I was talking about just a moment ago, that Santerre just could not get far enough along on the 3 car to pull that job off.
And Jerry Dale Earnhardt continues to run in 3rd, but he's almost 2 seconds behind.
And Bob, the hope here in the Earnhardt Jr. pit is that maybe Jeff Green may have used up his tires trying to run down Purvis and make the pass. Both Green and Earnhardt pitted on lap 161, meaning they had to go 89 laps to the checkered flag. Earnhardt's tires hopefully will be coming and getting better and better the last 40 laps, while Green's tires may go away. That's the thinking here in the 3 pit. They have constantly told Earnhardt Jr. to save your tire. That's why he didn't really want to battle significantly with the 47 car. Use it for rubber here. It's about 46 laps to go.
Well, that's a very good point. The bottom line of all this is don't go away, fans. Just because Jeff Green is back in the lead is no sign that he's going to run away with this thing. Here's a really good battle for the 3rd spot.
We see Jeff Purvis in the 2nd spot. There we see the battle for 3rd between Andy Santerre and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Santerre, he's getting a little more aggressive. You see how he drove the car in a little bit deeper that time. He knows if he's going to win this race, this is the guy he's got to get by to get those 2 cars in front of him.
Yep. He just can't do it. At least has not been able to do so far. Pins at 90 points down now in the battle for the championship if the race were to end now. Purvis picks up a spot, goes to 6th, and Keller is down 1 to 7th. Every lap they're just side by side. Santerre and Earnhardt.
This is a battle. They're about 2.5 seconds behind the leader. And once again, Santerre realizes he can't keep running on the inside lap after lap. He's got to save those tires a little bit and hope he gets a great run on Earnhardt and gets by him easily.
And all of this is playing right into the hand of Jeff Green, because even if he did use his tires up, these guys are certainly doing so, battling for third.
Exactly. Jeff Green didn't use them up too much. He's still running over 127.5 miles per hour.
And that is by far the fastest on the racetrack. Well, no, it isn't. It's the fastest of all is 10 feet wide. But Jeff Green is the second quick, and he's about 1.5 miles an hour faster than second place Jeff Purvis. There is the report on the last speed, the last lap. 127.6 or 126.9 between Green in the lead and Earnhardt in third.
Santerre trying it once again, going down in turn 3. As we watch the leader, Jeff Green. Their second place there. Again, that battle of a third spot. I think Santerre has a better race. He might have the fastest racer on the racetrack right now, but he can't get by this 3 car.
And he was more than half the distance around, it appears. Earnhardt there in turn number 4, but Earnhardt just had the better line and the better run and holds off the challenge once again. 1.5 second advantage for Jeff Green here at the NAPA Autocare 250 from Pikes Peak. We'll be right back. Blaney's back up into 10th.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
He's a lap down, but he's.
Oh, he might have him this time. He might. No,
same thing as last time.
Thought he had him.
He's getting closer, though.
Yeah, he's getting closer.
On the 40, you say? Okay.
Pretty close. His angle just is all screwed up going into 1, though. Just get this angle all screwed up. Yeah. Smoke said might be somebody good to put the onboard camera right now if he gets Earnhardt's way. What's he going to do? Is he going on the inside?
Oh, Smokestead almost wrecked right in front of Earnhardt.
And the 47 backed off. Missed the wreck. And lost the momentum. Look at that.
You got a replay of that?
Wow. Man.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Busch Series NAPA Autocare 250 on board with Ted Smokestead. Now, up ahead is Andy Santerre, and the tremendous battle between Santerre and Earnhardt for the moment has broken off. And that's because when those two guys went around Ted, he got a little bit sideways. Santerre had to check up and back off, and Earnhardt was able to pull away. And now Earnhardt is right on Jeff Purvis's back bumper.
That's right. I believe Andy Santerre, if he'd been able to get by the 3 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 10 or 15 laps ago, had a chance of winning this race this afternoon.
Too bad he had to back off, though, and break it up. And here he comes back again, so don't count him out yet. And Earnhardt is trying to take over second position from Purvis at the line. Earnhardt to second.
See, Earnhardt's able to get down in turn 1 a lot better than the 47 car of Andy Santerre. That's one reason he's able to get by Purvis. And Purvis now goes back to the 4th position as Santerre gets by. But for over 3 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Green. And guess what?
There we go again. Autocare and Earnhardt are back at it. Passing the slower car of Curtis Markham there in 72. He is flaps down in 34th position. As you can see on your rundown, there are 27 cars on the lead lap. With 31 laps to go in what's been a good race here at Pikes Peak. Earlier today on ESPN, you saw Greg Biffle win the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Michigan Speedway.
I believe that's 5 out of the last 10 or something for Biffle. He's on the road.
Yes, he is. Good to see an old winter heat driver doing so well in a higher division of NASCAR. 220 completed, 30 to go.
There's our leader, Jeff Green. 3 seconds held the second place battle between Earnhardt Jr. and Andy Santerre.
But he now has a bit of traffic ahead of him. Bobby Hill immediately ahead of the leader. As we once again check out the battle for a second. Green moving to the inside of Bobby Hillin. Brad Loney in the 90 car is just ahead. Damon Lusk 8 laps down in 36 in the number 12 car there, the America Online machine.
There's the onboard camera, the message to Jeff Pope says, "Get well, Jeff."
Let's check out some more telemetry here, VP. The Lucas Oil manufactures heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Bring you this information.
So Damon Lusk gets up to 138 miles per hour before he gets down the corner, has to brake. Dips down to about 106 or 7 miles per hour. So we can see these cars in front still running 140, 45 miles per hour down the straightaway. Up to 7,800 RPMs. Damon Lusk has had a very eye-opening experience this weekend. Campaigning in the NASCAR Busch Series, talking to yesterday.
Oh, Blaney is spinning. He was running up to 8th spot. Wow. Up to 8th position. He had made a nice move once again.
And the caution flag gets out. That'll bunch these boys up.
Now, the 2.3-second advantage that Jeff Green had on Dale Earnhardt Jr. is gone. Looks like that Blaney may stay on the lead lap here. He passes Green as Jeff has not taken the caution flag yet. Here he comes. Several cars may have picked up a lap. So this is going to be interesting. Here's the replay on Blaney.
Just gets up too high for some reason. Gets in the loose stuff, and he does a pretty good job. Almost has it saved, but then he can't quite catch up with the steering wheel, and around he goes.
Not a great deal of contact, if any, with the wall, though. Let's watch it closely.
It's just a little bit too high. I wonder if there's any water down there or anything. That's in turn 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, up in 1 and 2. Slides down to the apron. Here it is again. I don't know, BP. He just seemed to head right for the wall.
Yeah, I think he just got in way too high and just never could get it back. He didn't hit the wall, I don't believe, but never could get it back under control.
If he did, he hit it very slightly. And there are reports of raindrops. And there is the rubber from Blaney's car.
Wow.
Well, boy, this will be a shame if it starts raining now. We've only got 25 laps to go, and the shootout here for the win could be very, very interesting.
Well, that was not Blaney's tire. That was the 57. Jason Keller. The right front is gone on his car. Jason was running up about 14th or 15th position. Well, he can't. Flat tires have been his nemesis.
That's for sure. Ray Dunlap, he's headed toward you.
Yeah, Jason Keller on his way in. They'll get right sides on that race car. He's still in the lead lap now, but going to lose a lot of track position. You were talking about rain. There has been quite a few raindrops down here in the turn number 1 area, but by no means was it enough to have done anything to Dave Blaney. Blaney is now in right beside Keller, so these two cars will come to pit road. See that flat right in front is off, and Jason Keller's back out there, but he's lost a lot of spots.
And service on Blaney also completed, as you also see the 63 car of Bobby Hamilton Jr. make a pit stop and go back out onto the racetrack. Hamilton still on the lead lap, back at about 24th position. So now less than 25 laps to go under caution at Pikes Peak International.
Guys, I'll be with Mike Grieche if you want to get a quick comment. He's been pretty vocal about how good their car is, and we comment about whether Santerre can get by the 3 car. Mike's the crew chief for Andy Santerre.
Okay.
I'm with Harold Hawley here if we need something from the 32.
I don't imagine Jeff Green wanted to see this caution play. Do you?
Oh, no. No, sir. Okay.
1 to go.
You want me to get Grieche?
Just as soon as we wrap up this race here at Pikes Peak, you'll see the Bunker Hills Golf Club in Coons Rapids, Minnesota, as the Colwell Baker Burnett Classic for the seniors continues as Leonard Thompson is there to defend his title. That's coming up next on ESPN. All right, Jerry Punk, we're getting set to go back to racing.
Down with Mike Grieche, crew chief for Andy Santerre. Mike, do you have something for the 3 car, and could you win this thing?
We thought coming into this race that we'd have a good car for the long runs. It's been real good all day long. We're having a little trouble getting the right lane. Dale's taking probably the preferred lane away from us. I think we're better in the corners than him, but he's just taking momentum away from us on the straightaways. If we can get by him, I think we'll be absolute for the 32.
All right, Andy Santerre may have a shot, but right now he's got Speedway on his back bumper. We're going to be concerned about him. Back to Green.
Green comes out on lap 230 with 2:29 complete. What happens? Well, Earnhardt is right there on the outside of Jeff Green as they come off corner number 2. This is a battle for the lead. They touch, make heavy contact. It would appear a lot of smoke arose from between those 2 cars. Earnhardt on the high side and Green on the inside. Off of corner number 4. They come to the stripe. Green has the lead, but Earnhardt wants it.
Jeff Green, every time he looks up on the race, the checker flag is almost in the air, and someone is going by. This time it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to get by. Santerre is right behind him. He squeezes in between the 2 cars.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has taken over the lead on lap 231. Now Andy Santerre looks to the inside of Green. And here comes Tim Speedway to make it a 4-car battle up front. Santerre to the inside. Looks like he'll be able to take second from Green, or will he?
Yes, he's there. Well, he's going to try to pass Earnhardt Jr. while he's there. Hey, what the heck? I've got a good run.
Here he goes. Here he goes. Santerre to the inside at the end of the backstretch. Oh, can't quite complete the pass. We have seen these 2 cars race side by side so often this afternoon, and here they are again, except this time it's for the lead.
If he ever gets down in turn 1, he'll be a hero, but he still can't quite do it.
How about Tim Speedway? He's thinking about making it 3 wide coming off the second turn. And don't count Jeff Green out either.
A great battle with 18 laps to go.
Oh, now here we go.
Santerre gets a good run off the fourth corner into the D-shaped part of the oval here at Pikes Peak. He may have it here.
Earnhardt's going to come back on the outside once again. Now, this is the best run he's had yet.
Yes, it is. And again, there's contact between those two.
Oh, now look. Jeff Green is going back to second position.
Santerre had to lift just a little, broke his momentum, but he charges back once again as they complete lap 234 with 16 to go. Santerre once again to the inside on the backstretch. Gets a nose ahead of Earnhardt.
Folks, it doesn't get much better than this.
Now he resets. Don't do it too quickly. He's clear. Yeah, he's got him. Santerre takes the lead on lap 236.
How about that? Wow. Earnhardt, and that was hard fought. Earnhardt Jr. did everything he could do to keep that 47 car behind him.
Andy Santerre has never won a NASCAR Busch Series race.
Didn't even qualify for the race last week at Myrtle Beach.
That's right. He made his comeback at Watkins Glen, finished 30th, then finished 13th at Milwaukee, didn't make last weekend, and now here he is in the lead, and Tim Speedway is taking second.
And Jeff Green trying to take that third spot away from Earnhardt Jr.
And Green, who had the lead a few laps ago, tries to move back up into third. Todd Bodine becomes a player now as 5 cars are right there together. But Santerre is pulling away.
Andy Santerre at 13, 12 and a half laps to go to claim his very first NASCAR Busch Series victory. What a celebration that will be.
His career best finish in Busch Series competition was just about a year ago at Gateway. He finished 4th. Jerry Punch, you think he's going to do it?
Well, I tell you what, if Andy Santerre pulls it off, it will be a very popular victory. You're going to want to see the crew stand and cheer. He and White Blue are very, very popular among this Busch Series contingent. He broke his leg at the season opening Daytona, a 300-mile race at Daytona, and from his home, from his hospital bed, and from a wheelchair, he called other crew members as he watched them week after week to cheer him on. He never lost faith in his ability, and he always called to congratulate the winner week after week. It may be his turn today.
Oh, a crash. Earnhardt Jr. is in the wall. Sorry, Jerry, to interrupt you, but Dale Earnhardt went in pretty good.
Oh, man. Well, it looked like that Earnhardt Jr. is going to gain some points on Matt Kenseth. This happens with just a few laps to go. And Andy Santerre definitely did not want to see the caution flag wave and let those guys close up on this back bumper.
Indeed not. There are 10 laps to go in this race, and the caution is out. But now, Tim Speedway, Jeff Green, Todd Bodine are going to get another shot at him. And here is the replay of the crash involving Dale Earnhardt.
There we see Todd Bodine got in the corner on the inside of Earnhardt, got the number 66 a little bit loose. When he straightened it up, when he had to make the correction, he ran in the left rear of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
There is Earnhardt into the wall on the driver's side.
Oh, we see him.
But there is the good news. Yeah.
That is the good news.
But he appears to be favoring something.
You know, at Milwaukee, remember, he broke his scapula back in Milwaukee just 3 or 4 weeks ago. So he said, please don't touch me. Just let me go here.
Oh, man. You know, it looks like he may have re-injured something. He is... Jerry, what's the update?
Well, when he climbed out of the car, you could see him. The crew haven't been able to talk to him. Obviously, he's out of the car and not in radio contact. But remember, he broke that right scapula, the very tip of his right scapula, just a few weeks ago at Milwaukee. And although he has not complained, he's been driving like he has no injuries at all, he still basically has a fractured shoulder blade. The exact same fracture that Bobby Labonte had when he fractured his early in the year. So obviously that kind of impact couldn't have helped that at all. And to my knowledge, he was not wearing a brace or anything other than just some extra padding in his seat to help him today.
Well, he's in the ambulance. He climbed in there, of course, under his own power. They're going to check him over. Let's hope that he did not re-injure that. Perhaps just bumped it and hurt it a little bit. But let's hope that he did not do any more damage to himself that has already been done. In any case, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out of competition as a little more than 8 laps remain in the NAPA Autocare 250. What? Think so? Think they're going to?
I know they are. I bet you they do.
Oh, that would not be right. That wouldn't be right.
We'll see.
They're thinking about it, though.
They are. They're really.
Yes, Augustine.
Man. How about that Santerre, huh?
Yeah. On the one hand, I want Fido to win but it'd be nice to see Andy. There's.
Try. And can you show points as of there?
Put it on tape if you
Put it on tape.
have to. Okay. Okay. Good.
Back at Pikes Peak Raceway, Dale Earnhardt Jr. out of the car. First question is, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Todd Bodine got a little squirrely down there. I know it was some awfully close racing out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, we were real tight there on that last set, and I was trying to give everybody the room, but I wanted to race them. I didn't know whether I'd have a chance to win or not. I didn't want to give that up. And nobody else had any trouble getting by me. I guess that cue ball headed fool can't get by us without reckoning.
Okay, so Dale Earnhardt is definitely going to lose some points today here at Pikes Peak.
Because Matt Kenseth right now is in 8th position.
And right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been credited with the 28th position and will probably lose a couple more positions before the day is over. Tough race for the young man because he did really race the guy's race.
Yeah, he did. Yep. That's a pretty beat-up race car that they're taking back to the garage area, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s.
And they're going to Gateway next weekend.
Yep.
You would think that they want to use exactly the same car there, so now they'll have to go to a different plan.
1 to go. That'll be at the conclusion of 2:45, so we'll have hopefully 5 green laps of racing. What's the feeling in the Santerre pit, Doc?
Well, Bob Lyon was Sue Santerre, who is Andy's wife, PR person, and #1 fan. And Sue, how does it feel to be this close?
This is amazing. I can't even tell you. Win or lose, this is a huge boost for Andy's confidence. And I want to say this is for Jeff Krogh. We went and saw Jeff and Molly and Carla yesterday in the hospital. And this is for you, Jeff. I hope you get well. Thanks.
That is Sue Santerre pulling for her husband, and also we're all pulling for the Krogh family.
We have had 2 first-time winners in Busch Series competition in 1999. Mike Skinner at Atlanta, Casey Atwood at Milwaukee. We may be looking at a 3rd here this afternoon. But Tim Fidois has been really strong. So is Jeff Green. Now Todd Bodine is up there in 4th. Purvis in 5th. And they've turned the caution light back on.
They're not going green this time, but they will next time. Signal has been given from the flag. Matt Alexander.
I think, when we saw that shot of them having Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car on the hook a few minutes ago, a piece fell off the car, and I don't think they were aware of that, so they had to retrieve it, and now we are set to go back to competition.
This is on board Pitt Smokestead.
Not done too bad, has he? Up there in 25th, just a lap down. First car that is a lap down.
Gary Bradbury right in front of him. The rules now we're within 10 laps, and under NASCAR rules, all the cars on the lead lap, they top 24 cars will line up nose to tail and take this green flag. So there'll be no lap cars on the inside of any of the lead lap cars.
We will have 4 laps to determine the winner of the NAPA Autocare 250. Andy Santerre.
Last lap, last restart, Andy Santerre did not get an exceptionally good restart. If you remember, although he is the leader this time, it might make a difference. We'll see.
Kansas now 2 points ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. If the race were to end now, the green is out. Here we go.
Jeff Green down on the outside of the 36 of Tim Speedway, trying to take over that second spot. Now here comes Speedway on the inside for the lead.
Boy, Speedway got a good jump. Here he is, not able to take the lead. He's going to have to drop back behind Santerre. Todd Bodine up there also now. Speedway looks to the inside and thinks about trying it again, but does not. 3 laps to go.
Andy Santerre, once again, his car is performing beautifully. He's running a little bit higher right now because he understands that he can't let these guys get on the outside of him because he couldn't pass Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside. He cannot let these guys get outside position on him.
Separates himself from Tim Speedway by about a car length and a half, as now there are 2 laps to go. Kenseth is back in 7th position to take over the points lead if he can finish there. Lap and a half to go for Andy Santerre. From Cherryfield, Maine. White flag coming out. 1 more tour of this 1-mile DJ track at Pikes Peak International.
There's a battle for 3rd position between Ty Bodine and Jeff Green.
Bodine looks high down the backstretch, and a car on the wall is Dave Blaney. The pole sitter has wrecked on the final lap. The checkered flag is coming out. Andy Santerre is going to win at Pikes Peak International and his first Busch Series win.
Wow. Good way to go, guys.
Blaney's car down in turn number 1 is just about the middle of the racetrack. Blaney went in pretty hard there on the last lap. But the victory goes to Andy Santerre in just his 4th race in 1999. He missed several races because of the injury at Daytona, but wins his first Busch Series event here this afternoon.
Mike McLaughlin's wife coming over to give Sue a congratulatory hug.
Yep. Senior golf is coming up in just a few moments here on ESPN. We will be back with the winner in just a moment. Andy Santerre. Stay with us. Way to go, Andy.
Wow.
Okay. Is the winner circle sponsored?
Thank you. Where is he going? Oh. You know where Victor wants to go.
Yep. Dave's okay. Is he okay?
Keep a camera on Dave, aren't we, Blaney?
He's out of the car. Come on, Lander, you're not going to make air. of the NAPA Autocare 250 from Pikes Peak International Raceway, being brought to you by Polaris ATVs. If you're going to ride the best, Polaris. By the more than 2,700 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by the Outlaw Performance Fuel Additives, proudly endorsed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. The victory goes to Andy Santerre. He's the 12th different winner in 1999. Here's Jerry Punch in McDonald's winner's circle.
And Andy climbs out. He just did a couple of donuts, Alex Bernardi style, with his fans. And these fans at Pikes Peak will salute a first-time winner. Last year's Rookie of the Year. And the Lobsters will be screaming in New England tonight because Cherryfield, Maine's favorite son is in victory lane. Andy, congratulations. What an effort.
Oh, man, I tell you, we had an awesome car. This is great for my team. Monroe Muffler Braking Service, Dunningham, Max Kendall. We really needed this win. I'm a little dry right now. My tongue's flowing, but I didn't want to take any water. I just had too much concentration, you know. But say hi to everybody at home, my folks. Love you all, and appreciate everybody standing by me. It's been a tough year for us, and thanks to George Devitt, Mike Gritchie, and this entire team. They put a great car on me today.
Give Sue a big hug and Mike a big hug. Choked with emotion in victory lane. Andy Santerre, his first ever Busch Series win.
Great to see Andy in victory lane. Let's take a look at the top 15. A great race here this afternoon. Matt Kenseth finishes in 7th position and will take over the points lead because Dale Earnhardt Jr. crashed late in the going. Stay tuned for Seniors Golf, and thanks for joining us here at Pikes Peak. For Benny Parsons, Jerry Punch, and Rick Dunlap. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.